Hey there, Robbie Susan Chandler here. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. My blog spot is www.robbiesusanscardsandcrafts.com. Today I'm here to share my third Father's Day card with you in my series of 3. And this is the one we'll make today, and it's made with the Trusty tools, dies and stamps. And this is the front, and when you open it up, look inside, you have this toolbox with these cool tools. You can see it actually stands up like that. So there you go. Isn't that cool? There are the tools. It's in a little toolbox. See the box? And this one says Happy Birthday. Now, the one in class we made Father's Day, and this was the stamp we used for Father's Day. And it actually also comes out of the Trusty Tools stamp set. Alright, let's get started on this. Alright, we're going to start with a base of basic black, and it's, well, I had a piece of paper on this, but it just flew away. Let's see if I can find it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches, and we scored it in half at 5 1/2. So let's go ahead and do that. We're basically going to put this card together from all the pieces that I show you. Alright, the next layer, this is a piece of Pebbled Path, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And I embossed it with the metal plate embossing folder. And you notice I have gray plate here. We have a specialty plate that you use with these thick embossing folders called the gray plate. If you're having trouble running these thicker embossing folders through, it's because you don't have that gray plate. And you really need that, and all you use is the your base and the gray plate and this. We put this in between and always run it through with the fold going in. So this is, and I love this design. It's very deep, a really nice design, and when you do it on silver foil, it actually looks like metal. Alright, so that's our next layer, and you know what, let's go ahead and put it down while we're doing these. Now I like to use a liquid glue when I've got these highly embossed pieces because there's not a lot of flat surface, and it just seems to glue better down if you have the liquid glue on this type surface. Alright, that's our first layer there. Now we have a piece of black that's 4 3/4 by 2 1/4. Now on this piece I put a piece of real red that's 4 1/2 by 2 inches, and I embossed it with the timber embossing folder. I like a lot of textures on my cards. This is another one that uses our gray plate. So let's go ahead, and this piece, you know, this embossing folder, it's almost like, which side do you really like? But I'm going to use this one that's more raised. So let's pop that on here. That goes right in the middle of our black piece. I don't usually do this much gluing on our on my videos, but I didn't have hardly any extra pieces left. Everybody liked this card so much, and they used all the pieces up, so they only had like one set left. Okay, let's just glue that one flat down because we're going to put dimensionals on a lot of the other pieces. Alright, our next level up is another piece of, whoop, that's not another piece of black. That's 3 5/8 by 2 1/4. And on this piece, I cut a piece that I started out with a piece that's 3 3/8 inches by 2 inches of pecan pie, and I cut it with this die from the Trusty Tools die set, and you get this pegboard look, and I love this look. Now when you glue something like this down, you just want to be careful with your glue because you really don't want your glue coming out of those little holes. Alright, come on, glue. See, I'm scared to squeeze it and get too much glue. There we go. And just, you know, hit some spots. I really like this pecan pie cardstock because to me it really looks like a pegboard. Okay, so let's pop that down on here. Get it centered. I do like the Tomboy liquid glue because I got a little wiggle room with this. Alright, now this piece I actually put on with dimensionals. So let's put a few on here. Now when I've got a larger piece like this, I like to put one in the middle to keep it from sagging. I feel like when they're longer like this. If you don't put one in the middle, it might, you know, droop in there in the middle and not stay up like it should. And you know what? I don't really want these two on this side because they're going to be laying up on that. So let's just lay them over here and we will use them again. You know, sometimes when you pull these off, the cardstock comes off with them. So I'm being very careful because if that happens, they don't really work again. All right, so I don't have dimensionals on this side. I'm actually going to put a touch of glue. And the reason for that is it's laying on top of this one. And I just, this side kind of has already popped up some. So let's just put it here, put our dimensionals down. So see, it kind of levels it out with the dimensionals only on one side. Now also on the front here, we have a little drill. Well, let me show you that. Now all these dies are going to be, most of these dies are going to be from the Trusty tools. So here are the drill pieces. You have the main drill itself, and you've got this little, the drill bit, and then the base. So what I did, I cut the whole drill out of crushed curry, and then I cut just the bottom out of black. And we're actually going to cut this little piece off. This comes off like that. And you're going to glue it here and this one here. And when you do, you end up with your drill that looks like that. So here's our drill, and I've already put some dimensionals on it. Let's put it on. All right, I kind of want it aimed up a little bit. About just like that. There we go. Isn't that cool? That's a neat, I think that's a very realistic looking drill. They did a good job on that die. Now, our cinnamon on the front, I cut a basic black piece with this die from Spotlight on Nature, and I cut a basic white piece with this one that's from Spotlight on Nature. And if you look at Spotlight on Nature, there's just a lot of circles here, and this one happens to be that one, which is the third to the largest of that design, and this one falls in here, and it's the 1, 2, 3rd, or the smallest of those. But you get a lot of dies in this set. It's a very nice set. So both of those were cut from that, and the black piece, you notice it's got these little openings in it, which I think is really cool. All right, let's glue it down. And this I just glued flat. I put it right up here in my corner. And then It's Your Day, I stamped in Memento, and Donna did all my stamping of everything on this card in Memento Black, my Memento Tuxedo Black. But It's Your Day actually came from Best Catch. So that's one of our old retired ones, but hey, I like putting It's Your Day on the front, and that way people could put inside Happy Birthday or Happy Father's Day. I feel like if you keep the front kind of generic, then your customers can put whatever inside that they fits their need, because not all of my customers needed a Father's Day card. All right, well, we now have the front completed. Let's work on the inside. And the first piece I want to put in there is these two. Now this was a piece of basic white, 4 1/4 by 4, and I stamped my Happy Birthday. Now my Happy Birthday stamp came from this current set called Beach Day, and here's the Happy Birthday. The little measuring tape came from Trusty Tools, and it's this one. Now these are all the stamps I'm going to use for my tools when I make those, and I'll show those to you in a minute. You noticed on this one I had little screws and nuts and bolts here. That came from here. So this is a really cool set. And then the Happy Father's Day I used here also came from here. All right, so we've got Happy Birthday. Now this is from the Tools designer paper that we had last year, but I had a few pieces left, so I just wanted to use this one since it had tools on it. And I just cut a 1 by 5 1/4 piece just so it would go down this side. wanted to add a little color on the inside. And speaking of color, you could color your tape measure here, which would look really good. All right, I'm going to just glue this one inside. This piece has to go down first before you can put your connector piece for your toolbox. All right, so this goes right in the middle. Okay, speaking of the connector piece, let's put it in now before we make our toolbox. This piece of basic black, and I like to match my card base, and it's 2x4, and I scored it 1 inch, 2 inch, 3 inch. So I ended up with this little box looking thing here like this. So to glue it down, I flattened it, and I put my glue on the back, the section that's at the end, and the front side, the section that's out at the end. And put your glue close to the score lines. You want it right up there. And then I just laid it right on the card inside and put it close to the score line, but you don't want to go over the score line or your card won't fold. And then I just brought this piece over, hold it for a second or two, and then let's see if it held. There we go. Can you see from there? Let me turn it this way. So you've got this little box, and really it's not going to really fold this way because you're not going to open your box all the way, your card all the way that way, but it'll stop right there. Okay, so there's our base to put our toolbox on. So let's work on the toolbox. Here we go. All right, let's start with the box itself. And it has several little pieces here. I cut the wood part of it. Here's one I put together to show you, but I'm going to show you how I did it. I used this paper called Country Woods, and I used this piece right here. And you notice there's a lot of really cool wood grain pieces in this set. And I cut this. Now you notice there's little nail holes there. You just pop those out, and when you do, you've got, you can see through it. So if you put your handle down and you put it down far enough, it starts showing through there. And I just didn't want to put a bunch of little dots on that, because that would be, gosh, 8 per card, and I had like 30 of these kits to make. So I cut a piece of black that's 3 1/4 by 1 1/4, and I just adhered it behind there, and it popped through. The black popped through and made it look like nails, just like that. See, so that covered up those holes, and it looks like I have little nails in there. And then I just put this on there. And the easiest way to do that is just kind of lay this on here like that. There we go. So there's our toolbox. And those pieces were cut with this piece from the Trusty tools and the handle piece. So you just had 2 pieces for your toolbox. Alright, so we've got our toolbox made. Fun. Now let's look at our tools. The wrench was just cut with a die, and I just left it like that. I didn't do any stamping on it or anything, just left it like that, but I'm going to cut it in half because I wanted it to look like I had 2 of them in my box. So there's 2 of those. I want to open up my toolbox, see where I put everything. Alright, now here's another one that doesn't require any stamping, and it's the needle nose pliers. And you have these 2 dies to cut it. So these are the 2 points right here, and these are the handles right here. So when you put them together, you just punch that out, and you lay that on top of there, and then your handles go here. Fingers will get sticky like this. Turn that over like that. and it looks like this when you finish. And I just put one of these plastic Mac dots in the middle here for my little screw. So that's your needle nose plier. So we have two of our tools now. Okay, now let's look at our hammer and wrench. So what I did, I stamped the wrench on smoky slate and real red, and the hammer, same thing, only this piece I just cut shorter because it's going to go underneath. And then what you do, you just cut off, just do it, and cut off the hammer head. That's what you want, is the handle, and you're going to glue it on the head of the hammer. So you have this. And then with the wrench, you do the same thing. Cut off the head of it, save the handle, and then just glue it on top of the gray handle like that. And then you have this one. So that's the way I did my tools. And like I said, all those stamps are on here, but this is the one I used for the wrench. This is the one I used for the hammer. Okay, so now we have our tools put together. Let me move the ones that aren't glued together so I won't get those confused. All right, let's put them in our toolbox. So I'm going to start with the hammer. Let me give you a hint about the hammer. If you put it too far out like this, it's going to be outside your card. So you have to be careful how far in you put this. So I found it's better if you kind of aim it up towards this corner and lay it about right there. Now I'm going to put one of these behind it. I'm just going to put it down with a dimensional, because I want my tools to have some dimension. I don't want them to hold it like they're on the same plane. So let's put this one right behind there. Okay, and now the wrench. I'm going to put a couple of dimensionals on it too. One here, and I'm using the smaller ones, and I want it to stick up kind of high, so we'll put it like about right there. Let me move it over just a touch. I kind of got a big hole right there. There we go. Alrighty, and let's put the other, well, let's put the pliers in. The pliers I just stuck in like that. And you want to make sure they don't stick too far over the edge either. And I just put a little glue on this front handle and laid it across there like that. Now this wrench, I've noticed, needed a little glue up here to keep it from flopping around. Well, let's put that right there. All right, we got one more wrench, and I'm going to put it, you know what, I'll use one of these big dimensionals that I didn't use a while ago because it's not going to show. All right, let's just stick it right here so it's peeking up in that area like that. I could have put this one a little farther over, but it's okay. Let's see if I can adjust it some. Yeah, here we go. There, I like that one sticking up a little bit more. Whoops, that's all my glue from that. Showing now. Okay, I will have to, there, cover it up with the handle of that. All right, perfect. Okay, so now we have our toolbox together, and we want to put it inside on our little black square here, rectangle, actually a rectangle. So I'm going to stick three dimensionals here. There's 1, 2, 3. Let's take these off. And when you put this down, don't go all the way down to your card base here. You want a little gap, because if you don't have a gap, it won't fold up. So let's see. There, that worked. See, there's just a little tiny gap right there. And my hammer's not showing. That's great. All right, so here we go. There's our toolbox, our happy birthday card. I hope you like this card. I hope you'll give it a chance to give it a shot and make it. I have links to all the supplies below. And if you like my video, please click on the little like sign there. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so. If you don't have a demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. And until next time, happy crafting.